Hello everybody, welcome to the Am IT Geek YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz Dan, and as ever I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to another AZ700 Designing and Implementing Microsoft Azure Networking Solutions episode. We are on the home stretch. We are, I think, the last 4 episodes now that we're going to cover, and we're basically halfway through Module 5, but we've got 4 more episodes left, 2 more topics that we're going to cover. So really kind of looking forward to the really interesting topics we've got covered now. So we've obviously covered a lot of ground before this one, 4 other modules. I think we're going to be hitting about 37, 38 episodes possibly. So again, a lot of content in the last few months. I want to thank everyone obviously for their support. We are going to finish the series off with another bonus episode, which is going to be a podcast with a special guest, but I won't give anything away quite yet. So let's get started with today's episode. So, as I mentioned, we are still on the selecting or securing your network connectivity to Azure resources, which is Module 5. And specifically today, we're going to do the first part of designing and implementing Azure Firewall and Firewall Manager. So this is a 2-part topic. This is the first part. First of all, we'll start looking and discussing mapping requirements, the features and capabilities of Azure Firewall. We'll then talk about designing an Azure Firewall deployment. And finally, I'll hand over to Mohammed Sajid, who's going to do a demo of selecting an appropriate Azure Firewall SKU. So let's talk about mapping requirements and features, capabilities of Azure Firewall first of all. So first of all, high availability is built in, so there's no extra sort of load balancers that are required, and there's nothing you need to configure really. It's all as part of the Azure Firewall deployment. And Azure Firewall can be configured though during deployment to span sort of multiple availability zones, and that's for increased availability. So obviously you get out of the box availability. So for increased availability, you can use availability zones. With those availability zones, your availability resource sort of increases that availability to 99.9% uptime. So you can obviously look at Microsoft's website for more sort of SLAs around that. Azure Firewall can scale out as much as you need, really, to accommodate sort of changing traffic flows. So you don't need to budget for peak traffic, so you can scale it out very easily. And you can limit outbound HTTPS traffic or Azure SQL traffic to be specified to like a specified list of fully qualified domain names, including sort of wildcards. And this feature doesn't require TLS termination either. And you can centrally create, allow or deny network filtering rules by sort of source, destination IP address, port and protocol. Azure Firewall is fully stateful, so it can distinguish legitimate packets for different types of connections. Rules are enforced and logged across multiple subscriptions and virtual networks. The Azure Firewall, it supports stateful filtering of layer 3 and layer 4 network protocols. Layer 3 IP protocols can be filtered by selecting the sort of any protocol in that network rule, and then you select the wildcard for the port. Finally, another sort of really good feature and capability is the threat intelligence. So this is threat intelligence based filtering. And it can be enabled for your firewall to alert and deny traffic to or from sort of known malicious IP addresses and domains. The IP addresses and domains that are sourced from the Microsoft Threat Intelligence feed as well, so some integration with Microsoft there as well directly. So we'll talk about designing an Azure Firewall deployment before I hand over to Mohammed Sajid. So be aware of the sort of following when you're designing your sort of Azure Firewall deployment. So it can centrally create, enforce, and log application policies and network connectivity policies across subscriptions and virtual networks. It uses static public IP addresses for your virtual network resources as well. So this allows outside firewalls to identify traffic originating from your virtual network. Fully integrates with Azure Monitor, so for logging analytics. When you are designing your Azure Firewall, make sure you take that into consideration for your sort of logging and analytics area. Finally, when creating firewalls, it's best to use fully qualified domain names as well. for your tags. So again, just keep that in mind. Keep all these points in mind when you're designing it. So a bit of a shorter theory there. I'm going to hand over to Mohammed Sajid to do the demo, and I believe the demo is around firewall SKUs. Yeah, so selecting the appropriate firewall SKU. So over to you, Saj.
Thank you, Shabazz. Hi, everyone. So in this quick demo, we're going to take a look at the SKUs available for Azure Firewall. So to create an Azure Firewall, navigate to Create Resource and type in Firewall. You can see that once it pops up, there's lots of options around the type of firewalls you can deploy from different people like Barracuda, like Sophos. So we're going to take a look at the standard Azure Firewall, or the firewall offering from Microsoft, should I say. Because in here, you'll see, when we look at it, there are 3 different SKUs. So in the next video, we'll run through actually setting one up. So what we have here is the 3 SKUs: Premium, Standard, and Basic. And Premium Firewall supports additional capabilities such as SSL termination and IDPS, identity detection and prevention. So if you look at that, so essentially from the SKUs, you have Basic, Standard, and Premium. If you stick to learn more, and we'll include the link in the video below, you see it gives you insights because you take a look at Azure Premium features. And you have TLS inspection, IDPS, intrusion detection and prevention, URL filtering, web categories, supported regions. And so if you look through here, it tells you TLS, IDPS, URL filtering, web categories. And this is a great article that demonstrates or explains to you some of the capabilities of the Premium Firewall. So remember, you have 3 SKUs: Basic, Standard, and Premium. Thank you for watching. Back to you, Shabazz.
Thanks, Saj. Another great demo, and that is the so in this last 4 episodes, we're going to have 3 demos. The last one's going to be a big demo. We are going to have a bit of a theory based episode coming up. Not this one, but the next one after that. So yeah, thank you very much, Saj, again. And again, I hope everybody has enjoyed the sort of changing format. With the theory and labs, so try to mix it up a bit, not try to keep you engaged. Hopefully that's worked. You can see the link to the GitHub repository where all the AZ700 labs are available. Please do try them yourself before taking the exam. I strongly recommend it. We've not obviously covered every lab. We've kind of picked and choose what labs we thought might be more interesting to yourselves. And so we hope you are following those along as well. So yeah, as I said, after this we've got 3 more episodes in our podcast. So massive thanks for everyone's support. Massive thanks to Mohammed Sajid as well. So until next time, goodbye.